everyone, welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. Please call me Pop for short. And on this stream, if you're not aware, we look through the skilled trades and what's involved, what you can expect, and how to get into the skilled trades. And I'll also show some pictures and videos of projects that I've been a part of, some of the things that people don't usually see. Because they're not in the skilled trades and they never think about it. But first, I'd like to welcome Candy Corn. Oh, he's in the chat there. You changed your picture. That's a funny looking picture, all right. And Joseph Dredd, how you doing? The judge is in the chat, so be on your best behavior, lest he pass judgment on you. And anyone who happens to be on Kick or Rumble, welcome. It's Piggy. Oh, okay, there you go. So as I so often do, I will start out with a bit of news out in industry, because when you're out in industry, you can sort of tell how the economy is by how many new facilities are being built, or who's getting shut down, or who's buying who. Sort of gauge how things are out there, whether it's a booming economy or whether things are not doing so well. Saying that, I will have to just leave the button for the Brave here, and boom, there we go. I use Brave browser, as it's a lot better than Firefox, that's for sure. All right, so there's about a week of stuff to look at. There's a couple of things that caught my eye. The first one is about the auto strike with Ford of Canada reaches tentative deal with Unifor. Ford Motor Company and Unifor have come together to reach a tentative agreement on a new 3-year labor contract. They've reached a national labor contract covering more than 5,000 unionized employees in Canada, said Steve Major, Vice President of Human Resources, Ford Motor Company of Canada Limited. The agreement is subject to ratification by Ford Unifor members. To respect the ratification process, Ford of Canada will not discuss the specifics of the tentative agreement. The new agreement covers 5,600 unionized Unifor members at Ford's Oakville Assembly Complex, Annex, and Essex engine plants in Windsor, Ontario, and part distribution centers in Bramlea, Paris, and Castleman, Ontario, and Leduc, Alberta. We believe this tentative agreement endorsed by the entire Master Bargaining Committee addresses all the items raised by members in preparation for this round of collective bargaining, says Lana Payne, National President of Unifor. We believe that this agreement will solidify the foundations on which we will continue to bargain gains for generations of auto workers in Canada. Ratification meetings will take place for Ford members soon, where the details of the agreement will be presented. In late August, Ford was selected as the target company by Unifor for its Detroit 3 negotiations. In addition to reaching a master agreement, our members at each Ford location faced their own unique set of issues that needed to be resolved by our committees at the bargaining table, said John Dagnolo, Ford Master Bargaining Chair, Unifor. This agreement makes the kind of gains our members need today and adds greater financial security for the future. Earlier this year, Ford announced that Oakville Assembly Complex would be transformed into a high-volume electric vehicle manufacturing hub in Canada after a $1.8 billion investment. Complex will be renamed the Oakville Electric Vehicle Complex and begin the process of retooling and modernization in the second quarter of 2024. Ford will repurpose and transform existing buildings into a facility that leverages its workforce. Currently, the Oakville site has 3 body shops and 1 paint building and 1 assembly building. It has 3,000 employees, currently building the Ford Edge, Lincoln Nautilus, and has been operating since 1953. All right, well, good news then. They've managed to bring something to the table that the union likes, and maybe we'll avert a disaster. Next up, the Government of Canada invests in transformer manufacture. What's my favorite game? A game I put a lot of hours into was One Piece Odyssey. I think I put like 106 hours into that. I am a One Piece fan, and I do like the games. Yes, invests in a transformer manufacturer. The Federal Economic Development Agency in Southern Ontario has invested nearly $4 million in Rex Power Magnetics. We're very pleased to embark on an expansion plan with the help of FedDev Ontario, which includes new space, new equipment, facility improvements, and plenty of hiring. So that's good. In that part of the country, they're going to be hiring more people. These updates will allow Rex to better support Canada's transition to a renewable power infrastructure and greener future for everyone. The Rex Power will now add a new transformer production cell at its current 145,000 square foot facility in Concord, Ontario, and create a new production line at its new facility in Etobicoke, Ontario. The company hopes to increase sales, create 35 jobs, and improve lead times. Today's investment reassures our federal government's commitment to help grow and expand Canada's thriving manufacturing sector, said some politician from Vaughan Woodbridge. The nearly $4 million enables this Vaughan manufacturer to stay competitive, increase its production of green energy efficiency products, and help create and maintain 320 jobs across the region. Rex Power is family-owned transformer design and manufacturing company used in the generation, storage, and transmission of electricity for schools, homes, hospitals, and businesses. All right, not much to say about that. Government spending money, so it's spending the people's money to keep a business competitive. That's kind of dumb. Government shouldn't be handing out money to businesses to keep them running. ABB and Tata Steel look at technologies to help reduce carbon footprint of steel production. Don't care. BMO to shutter indirect retail auto finance business as bad debt mounts. So a bank is closing its retail auto finance business because of bad debt. Maybe things are a little bit worse off than we thought. Especially if a bank is closing its auto finance business because it's losing money. Linamar to acquire propulsion agnostics business from Mobex. Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, I agree. Canada's manufacturing sector seeks to reduce repetitive labor through AI. All right, I have to look at this because it's just about AI again. I'm not a big fan of AI. I think it's stupid. I don't think we should rely on it, and I also think people should stop praising it. Because those people that do not have any skills or anything like that, like writers or artists, AI, as we can see, can take your job from you. So stop praising AI and stop trying to use it all the time. Remember when banks had problems with bad housing debt? I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers, Godzillionaire. It's everybody's favorite kaiju, everybody. Here we go. In Toronto, artificial intelligence has increased automation can help lessen the load for workers at a time when Canada faces labor shortage in the construction and manufacturing sector. That's one of the messages being shared at this year's Canadian Manufacturing Technology Show taking place in Toronto next Monday to Thursday. The annual event will put on by SME, formerly the Society of Manufacturing Engineers, which represents various players in the North American manufacturing industry. Hello, Alex Moore. Good to see you. Just talking about some AI here. Combating misconceptions about AI is one of the challenges facing the industry, especially as new technology becomes increasingly necessary, said Julie Pike, Senior Director and of Event Strategy for SME. Hey, Megalomongoloid, good to see you. The human level to resist change is always there, she said, noting that some of the industry often fear new technology is being ushered in to replace jobs rather than alleviate their workloads. As organizations set up technologies that allow systems that are normally produced by humans to be more streamlined, we can free up human capital, said Pike. We can free up our time and resources to grow those areas further, so you do have a job. Last year, Canadian Manufacturers and Export annual labor survey showed that labor and skill shortages result in nearly $13 billion of economic losses. 62% of the 563 manufacturers surveyed said they have lost or turned down contracts due to lack of workers, resulting in $7.2 billion in lost sales. A separate report released in June by KPMG found 9 in 10 Canadian construction companies are dealing with shortage of skilled labor or trades amid unprecedented demand. Now, haven't I been saying this all along? Ever since I started Trades Talk, it's like there is a trade shortage. I'm living it right now. I am living proof of this shortage because I was able to go from where I was at the one job to where I am easily because they were looking for somebody to replace the guy that was retiring. There you go. Retiring tradesmen are making spaces open for other tradesmen to come along, but then there's gaps that aren't getting filled. Now is the time. Now is the time to seize that opportunity. The survey of 275 construction companies found digital technology was widely viewed as a solution to addressing these shortages, but respondents said Canada's construction industry has been slow to adopt new digital technologies, with nearly three-quarters feeling the sector lags behind other countries in that regard. Show me or tell me what can they do with digital technology in a construction. You're just going to be doing your developing with your CAD programs and such like that. On the ground, boots on the ground, building frames and building concrete pads and just putting up I-beams and welding. AI is not going to do any of that. It's just ridiculous. They're thinking this is going to solve everything. You need more people. Never mind the fancy digital computer stuff. Computer's not going to pour concrete for you or finish it properly or make sure it's got the right finish on it. Okay. A large portion of our organizations are small to medium-sized companies, and they're really in varying stages on this pursuit of adapting and adopting AI into their processes and operation that will ultimately help them from an efficiency side, cost savings, improvements, and the like. She pointed the story of Massimiliano Moruzzi, one of the year's keynote speakers at the conference and CEO of intelligent automation startup Zaba. Hey, Whoopa, how you doing? Comrade Leader is here. Much rejoicing is happening. The Toronto-based company launched last year uses an AI platform to enable the creation of a fully functional robotic car chassis that understands the properties of carbon fiber and is capable of calculating and controlling the materials variables on its own. Using industrial AI software, he said robots designed by Zaba can take on tasks such as welding, drilling, assembling, and additive manufacturing, eliminating the need for extra programming expenses and time-consuming trial and error efforts. So they've had robots doing stuff already, like welding, drilling, all that stuff. This isn't anything new. Just adding AI to it is just extra steps. A big missing point in the automation industry in the AI bridging to the automation was the lack of a synthetic brain. Oh, here we go. Freaking Skynet. Here we go. Remember WhoopTube. Yeah. We've developed a synthetic brain for the automation industry for robotics and machines as well. We built the robot at Zaba, and then we built the brain of the robot. We saw the machine responding completely differently to us. In essence, we saw the machine unlocking capacity. They're not giving examples, they're just saying words. Yeah, look, the machine unlocked its capacity. Okay. What did it do? They're very vague. They don't have specifics. They don't say, well, it increased 100% or moved 10 times faster or whatever. Or, it figured out things. It wants to kill all humans. I don't know. It's once again, AI. They just keep pushing it, and they're pushing it so hard, which makes me wary about it. Anybody that's pushing things so hard is like, who's benefiting? If you're pushing it so hard, how is it going to benefit me? Remind you, Robocop, you have 30 seconds to comply. Yeah, with like Ed 209. Guy throws the gun down, but it still shoots him up. Yeah. Yeah, what could go wrong? Moruzzi said the technology is different from existing AI solutions as it allows real people to work with a machine that can talk to you and use its own knowledge to help solve the business challenges you face as opposed to performing tasks in place of a human. Current mechanization is removing the job. You have robots that are spreading the jam on your bread like a human does today. What the hell? Okay, if it gets to the point where a robot has to spread the jam on my bread, that's it, I might as well end myself because That is just the ultimate in laziness. It's just unbelievable. Like, we got to be ever vigilant against these guys. Like, anybody that wants to keep pushing AI, I'm against it. I'm against it. I don't think we need it. You can use a little bit, but you don't need everything everywhere. Did I hear the ultimate laziness? Yes, you did, Blaine. What's your purpose? You fetch the butter. Oh my God. I think I know the meme you're talking about, Godzillionaire. Pike said industry leaders are focusing on educating their peers on how AI can help them at a time when there's simply not enough workers available to handle every task that companies need to get done. The truth is, it is hard to build and fly the plane or drive the car at the same time, she said. So how do we help manufacturers and industry at large adapt and continue to be productive at the same time? That's it. All I gotta say is, don't trust AI. It's not, if people keep pushing it, it's not going to help the average person. And like I said before, if you're an artist or a writer, this is something that can take place, because we've seen it. There's examples all over. You can go to a AI program right now and say, draw me a picture of this, and it does flawless artwork, almost flawless. Or write me a story in a Sherlock or an Sir Arthur Conan Doyle style Sherlock Holmes mystery, and woof, it writes it. So you got to be very careful. I don't think it's a good idea. People replace the term algorithm with AI, and it's annoying. Yeah, there you go. I can't stand it. McDonald's McLazy, yeah. Al Gore has no rhythm. Let's see here. Auto workers still have room to expand their strike against car makers, but they also face risks. Yeah, I think I know what the risks are. It's the risks from Honda and Tesla and anybody else that isn't in the Unifor union, because they'll just keep pumping out cars, and people won't have to worry about that. But let's take a peek and see what it says. Hey, Jay's daddy, how you doing? Good to see you. You're hating it? Candy corn. But can AI generate new gender identities and constantly offended by everything? Well, if it learns to. Let's see. Even after escalating its strike against Detroit automakers on Friday, the Auto Workers Union still has plenty of leverage and effort to force the companies to agree to significant increases in pay and benefits. Hello, Veritax. Good to see you. Wow, full house today. I am just overwhelmed and just pleased as punch to see everyone out here. You guys are great. 2030 agenda in full swing, trying to crumble gas car manufacturers. Yeah. Here's the thing, too, and I'm just going to go off on a tangent here a little bit. I looked up ESG because I wanted to know, I'm like, where did that come from? And big surprise, it's like a mandate from the UN. How can an unelected body have so much control over the countries of the world, and they implement ESG, and people are complying with it? If I was the leader of the country and the UN was like, you have to do this, I'd be like, no, up yours, forget it. I'm doing what I want. I'm doing what's best for the people. But no, everyone's listening to the United Nations, they are supposed to stop wars between countries. Yeah, they sure did really well with that, didn't they? They're not supposed to dictate what goes on in our country. You know, we're supposed to tell our government what we want to see, and they're supposed to listen to us. Ideally, that's what it's supposed to be. I know it doesn't happen because all politicians are scum, and they just do whatever they want to line their own pockets and flaunt their own eliteness against everyone else. They feel they're better than everyone, and they just want to be the cream of the crop. Cue the Illuminati talk. My conspiracy hat never comes off. You don't think Punch is particularly happy given the circumstances? Probably not. The Illuminati, that's a myth. It's the lizard people. Oh, lizard people. Making the frog gay. Putting chemicals in the water. ESG is a social credit score for companies to get funding. It came from the WEF via BlackRock and such. Okay. MSG, on the other hand, is delicious. Yes. Yeah, 9 people. I mean, awesome. Thank you, everyone. I'm very pleased. So yes, you can do me a favor and just slap the like button if you're so inclined, you know. So that's the thing I saw. If the UN is saying ESG, it's like, what? Why are we listening to these guys? Anyway, it was just something that I noticed, and I thought I'd bring it to everyone's attention in case they didn't know where it came from. Because you always hear ESG, and it's like, who came up with this? I always try to look behind, like what's happening, like behind the scenes. Like, okay, well, somebody said this, but who came up with that? Who did that? You have to like try to dig and see what you can come up with, because if you do that, then you realize who's really pulling the strings, and then you know that, yeah, things are getting pretty hopeless. Low SG, no monies. High SG, big monies. It's not conspiracy if they flaunt it in your face. Ah, yeah, okay. UN is about as useless as NATO. Follow the money. Yeah, good point, Godzilla. Bringing China to your local union. That's disgusting too. And I don't think any of the other guys are Canadian, but I am just livid with the fact that the stupid Prime Minister honored some Nazi in our parliament just because he fought with Ukraine against the Russians. It's like, ooh, burn, sick Russian, burn. You're honoring this guy, and he's a Nazi. You friggin' retards. You can't do that. They were the enemies in World War II. The allies were Britain and her Commonwealth, the US, and Russia. The enemies were Japan, Germany, Italy. Like, are these guys stupid? They gotta know their history. Whereas I do read up on my history. I'm a amateur historian, and I like to look at that stuff and learn from it. Idea, play Roblox games like Doors, Piggy, and more. Roblox. I don't know if I'll be playing that. UN is pretty useful to do what it tries to do. Technically, BlackRock pioneered the ESG. You know, they were saying how great it was that UAW is striking and who might benefit the most. That's right, Tesla and Elon Musk. Yes. Yeah, anyone that wasn't a part of the UAW. So Honda, Tesla, and there was one other one, but I can't remember. You should invade Canada and overthrow your government for honoring mass murderers. Please do. Like, you know, can you guys come and liberate us? Help. We need help. Claim Canada for Whoopstotska. Yes, please. You're just playing the Italians a few Saturdays ago. There you go. Your Honda's up like 30% now. Yeah. There you go. Blaine knows where the right place to put his money is. Should just burn it for Whoopstotska. Come on, guys. I live here. Don't burn my place down. Anyways, I veered off on that tangent. Please forgive me for that. Even after escalating its strike against Detroit automakers on Friday, the United Auto Workers Union still has plenty of leverage in its effort to force the companies to agree to significant increases in pay and benefits. Only about 12% of the union's membership is so far taking part in the walkout. The UAW could, if it chose to vastly expand the number of workers who strike at assembly plants and parts facilities of General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, the owner of Jeep and Ram brands. Yet, the UAW's emerging strategy also carries potentially significant risks for the union by expanding its strike from 3 large auto assembly plants to all 38 parts distribution centers of GM and Ford. The UAW risks angering people who might not be able to have their vehicles repaired at service centers that lack parts. The union's thinking appears to be that by striking both vehicle production and parts facilities, it will force the automakers to negotiate a relatively quick end of the strike, now in its second week. To do so, though, some analysts say the union might have to act even more aggressively. Yeah, what are you guys saying here? You see that pic someone posted that the Nazi was waiting all by his lonesome in Trudeau's office for him and Zelensky to show up? Not burn everywhere, just Ontario. Well, you know, they think they're the center of the universe. Canadian Secret Police have entered the chat. Yeah, shh. Nothing going on here, just talking about trades. Captain Rabbit Trail here to help derail street. Don't burn Texas. No, I don't burn Texas. Texas is all right. The article goes, we believe the next step for UAW is the more nuclear option, going for a much more widespread strike on the core plants in and around Detroit, said Daniel Ives, an analyst with Wedbush Securities. That would be a torpedo. Sam Abelsmid, an analyst at the consulting firm Guidehouse Insights, suggests that with so many workers and factories still running, the union has a number of options with which to squeeze the companies harder. They could add more assembly plants to the list. They could target more of the plants that are building the most profitable vehicles. As examples, he mentioned a plant in Flint, Michigan, where GM builds heavy-duty pickups, and Stellantis factory in Sterling Heights, Michigan, that produces Ram trucks. All three companies said that talks with the union continued on Saturday, though officials said they expected no major announcements. In Canada on Saturday, Ford workers began voting on a tentative agreement that their union said would increase pay by 15% over 3 years and provide cost of living increases and $10,000 ratification bonuses. Whoa, that is quite the bonus just to ratify the thing. The tentative deal was forged earlier this week, hours before a strike deadline. The union, Unifor, said the deal, which covers 5,600 workers, also includes better retirement benefits. If the deal is ratified in voting, that will end Sunday morning. The union will use it as a pattern for new contracts at GM and Stellantis plants in Canada. In the United States, the UAW began its walkout more than a week ago by striking 3 assembly plants, one each at GM, Ford, and Stellantis. In expanding the strike on Friday, the UAW struck only the parts distribution centers of GM and Stellantis. Ford was spared from the latest walkouts because of progress that company has made in negotiations with the union, said UAW President Shawn Fain. Striking the parts centers is designed to turn up pressure on the companies by hurting dealers who service vehicles made by GM and Stellantis, the successor to Fiat Chrysler. Service shops are a profit center for dealers, so the strategy could prove effective. Millions of motors depend on those shops to maintain and repair their cars and trucks. It severely hits the dealerships and it hurts the customers who purchase those very expensive vehicles in good faith, said Art Wheaton, a labor expert at Cornell University. You just told all your customers, hey, we can't fix those $50,000 to $70,000 cars we just sold you because we can't get you the parts. Well, you got to be careful making people angry. Ways to squeeze the company, i.e. extortion. Yes, Godzillionaire. We started CDL program today. I'll be terrorizing the road in an 18-wheeler in a few months. Good for you, Jay's daddy. Right on. CDL, commercial driver's license. He's going to be driving a big truck. Nice. Extort D's nuts. I see a guy in a truck day drinking, although it's you. Do you guys know who Candace is? I do not know who Candace is. There is a lot of Candaces. There is, like, lots. You gotta be more specific there, Candy Corn. Where are we at here? The more combative union has declined to discuss its strike strategy publicly. Fain has said repeatedly that a critical part of its plan is to keep the companies guessing about the UAW's next move. Indeed, the union has shown unusual discipline in sticking to its talking points. On a picket line Friday, Fain was asked whether striking against spare parts centers would hurt and potentially alienate consumers. Candace Fitton. Oh, Blaine. I should have known not to fall for that. And these nuts fit in your mouth? Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I'm not hip with the kids. On a picket line Friday, Fain was asked whether striking against the spare parts centers would hurt and potentially alienate consumers. What has hurt the consumers in the long run is the fact that the companies have raised prices on vehicles 35% in the last 4 years. It's not because of our wages. Our wages went up 6%. The CEO pay went up 40%. Selling parts and performing service is highly profitable for car dealers. AutoNation reported a gross profit margin of 46% from service shops at its dealerships last year. The problem for the companies is that dealerships and other repair shops typically have lean inventories and depend on receiving parts quickly from the manufacturer's warehouses. Mike Stanton, president of National Automobile Dealers Association, said the members want to avoid anything that would impair customer service. So we certainly hope automakers and UAW can reach an agreement quickly and amicably. Make up for the loss of striking workers, the automakers are weighing their options, including staffing the parts warehouses with salaried workers. We have contingency plans for various scenarios and are prepared to do what is best for our business and customers, said Dave Barnes, GM spokesman. We are evaluating if and when to enact those plans. Similarly, Jody Tinson, a Stellantis spokeswoman, said we have a contingency plan in place to ensure we are fully fulfilling our commitment to our dealers and our customers. She declined to provide additional details. You have to go, Candy Corn? All right. Thanks for coming out. I'll see you around again, hopefully. Your 2000 Toyota Corolla is going to outlive you, so you're fine. Well, hey, Whoopa, that thing's built like a tank. Then it's not going to die on you, so that's good. I hear you when you pull into the gas station, you get them to check the gas and fill up the oil. Finally, in negotiating with these companies, the union is pointing to the carmakers' huge recent profits and high CEO pay as it seeks wage increases of about 36% over 4 years. Companies offered a little over half that amount. Companies said they cannot afford to meet the union's demands because they need to invest profits in a costly transition from gas-powered cars to electric. They have dismissed out of hand some of the demands, including 40 hours pay for a 32-hour work week. That I don't agree with. And I work union. Why would you get 40 hours of pay for only 32 hours of work? You're basically getting paid to do nothing. I think that's ridiculous. 40 hours pay, 40 hours work. It's theft. That's what it seems like to me anyway. I'm sure people will come at me or say I'm wrong, but I don't know. It just makes sense to me. The audacity to ask for 40 hours of pay for 32 hours of work. I mean, it just seems like it to me. And that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Good old Corolla. You want 40 hours of pay for 4 hours of work. There you go. Don't we do that in Wupstotska? What do you mean I can't get paid for not working on Mondays? Yeah, I know, eh? That's the thing. Tornado damaged Pfizer plant in North Carolina restarts production. EU member states weaken proposals setting new emission standards for cars and vans. That's about it. We're all cut up on the news there, everyone. Unless you guys want to go deep into these, but it doesn't really matter to me. Pretty much covered what we need to do. Hopefully these guys will get back to work. They'll ratify their agreement with the unions and Ford and GM and Stellantis. They can all get back to work. In Wupstotska is 4 hours pay for 40 hours work. Ah, yes, the inverse. I forgot. That is right. What's up next here? This was just I was looking up some of the best trade schools in Canada and eligibility criteria and all that kind of stuff, and what kind of what your job prospects look like. Not very long article, that's for sure. To kind of give you an idea of what the average fees are. The eligibility criteria for vocational courses differs across educational institutions. Some of the common guidelines are secondary education completion, so finish high school, English language proficiency, French language proficiency if required, because Canada has 2 official languages, English and French. Photocopy of the passport, academic transcript, student visa, and other documents. Several jobs that are available after completing these courses, including welder, cook, industrial electrician, decorator, painter, event manager, carpenter, construction electrician, sheet metal worker, and more. Average salaries are following according to Glassdoor. Refrigeration, air conditioning mechanic, $85,000 a year. Sheet metal worker, $79,000 a year. Industrial electrician, $79,000 a year. So as you can see, the income prospects are very good being in the skilled trades. Actually, let's get right into pictures. Why not? You guys like that? Pictures. This. Capture the display. Boom. There we go. Yes, that is in Maple Leaf dollars. You bet. I mean, it still counts. Really hate the whole notion of hourly pay. Project task rates is so much better. It works for some things, for sure. I have always been paid hourly. I don't know anything else. I know there's salary, but that's usually reserved for people that are supervisors or managers or whatever. And so it doesn't matter how many hours they work, they get paid a set rate. 75k Canadian shekels is only like 5 Uncle Samistan pesos. $20 US. Yeah, pretty much. Salary is just free overtime for employers. Yep, I've seen that too. They do that a lot. What you're looking at here is a shiv on a dredge. So this dredge is in the middle of a pond. And this pond is a settling pond for human waste. So you can imagine how awful it is, how bad it smells. But this thing shouldn't look like this. This wire rope that it rides on here, and this is the drive pulley. It wore it down. So you have to get in there and change that out before it wears down too much and just splits the thing in half. As a diesel tech, you got paid per job. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of that too. You can see how far down this thing is worn. Like, it is worn right in there. Settling pond for human waste? You mean New York City? Where's DJ Ronnie G? We got to get him in on this. He's a New Yorker. That was the one thing the Boeing Engineer Union got right. Salary plus. You get guaranteed salary, then hourly overtime if you work longer. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, anytime you work longer, yeah, get your overtime. And I bet you they probably had double time. I know some places are just time and a half, but double time is nice. So, there's more settling ponds. As you can see behind this crane here, there's one pond over there, there's one pond over there. So there's a lot of settling ponds for the city. I think there's about 5 of them. Nice mobile suit crane. There's our local New Yorker, DJ Ronnie G. So, yes, mobile suit crane. These guys are going to get set up. They are going to pull this thing out of the water. This is the old dredge. Pretty much it's just some floating pontoons on a framework with a pump and a auger on the front. So that they are going to lift that out of there. As you can see in the background, there's the new one. So the company went ahead and spent about $1 million on a new dredge because this old one was getting too old. It was rusting out and it was just falling apart. 20 years old, they got their money's worth out of it. So here's, in the wintertime, this place doesn't shut down in the wintertime. It runs all the time. These things help keep the ice from forming over top of the settling pond. A big aerator. All it is a giant motor on a float with a propeller on the bottom. And it just spins and stirs things up to keep it from freezing. That's all it does. So they're getting ready now. This is a 400-ton crane. So they have to get all the counterweights set on the back of this crane. So right here is where they're going to have all the weight set up. And here they are here. They come in on a separate truck. There's the bottom part there. I think you can even read on there. It says 10 tons. So that piece there weighs 10 tons. And there it is set up there. It has to reach. The reason it's 400-ton crane is because it has to reach from the road over the berm and right into the water. This thing only weighs 40,000 pounds. But it's because the distance is so long that this crane has to reach. So without tipping over, like you see in a lot of videos, where the crane fails or the boom breaks or it flips over, the crane company, we tell them what we want to move and how far, and they come out and look at it and they go, okay, you're going to need a 400-ton crane to reach that far with that weight. You know, because they have load radiuses in the crane and such. So the first thing they do is they decide to lift out the aerators because they need to come out and get rebuilt every year. In the summertime, you don't need them. So in the wintertime, you get them rebuilt so they come back in the fall, and then you set them back in after they've been rebuilt. And there's nothing to getting them rebuilt. I did a couple of them myself. Yeah, leverage. All about that momentarm. Yep, you got her. And I believe they're getting set right there. They got their slings. You guys are hooking it up. And there you go. You got it lifted up. Everything looks okay. These were just the still pictures I was taking. Once it was out, they had to wash it down because of, environmental concerns. So they had to wash everything down so it wouldn't go all over. But then you get a better look at the auger in the front. So there's the pump there. There's the motor, and this motor is waterproof, and it goes down on this arm. This auger's on a big arm, and it goes down into the water, and it can run along the bottom. And if it hits like high spots of sediment, because that's what it's doing, it's sucking up the sediment on the bottom. It's lowered down by this winch, and this helps chew up the big parts and get it in, and it goes in a hole behind it, as you can see. There's a shot of behind. So there's the pivot point. I believe it's right there. There's the pivot point, so that this whole arm pivots on that. So you can go pretty deep to get the things you need. You need a certain percentage of solids to suck up. Otherwise, you're just pumping water, which they don't want. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks sediment. You bet it does. I was a little further down the road. I got a good shot of them loading it onto a flat lowboy. So they're going to put it on the back of that truck. There they are. They're getting it ready. And you can see what the counterweight looks like now. They put these on the side. They put this on the bottom and this one on the side. Like, this thing is fully kitted out with weight. Giant pads for their stabilizers to go on. Just a giant frame. So there's what that new, this is what a new one looks like. This one's still sitting pretty low. The new Shiv. It looks like it got worn in a bit. But it's a lot better than that other one that I showed you guys. There's a shot of the new one in wintertime. So those aerators are keeping this area open here. You can see that it's melted here and melted here. They're gonna have to move them because they're too far away to melt and keep this place open. You can see it's frozen behind it. Yeah, you can get a better shot. So that's an aerator, but it flipped over because it got ice buildup and it flipped over. And now it's useless for the rest of the season. You got to wait till spring to pull it back in and get it out of there. Over on the other side, you can see these guys are right side up. That one's still on. It's kicking up a lot of the water, and so is this one. But they're going to have to move those over so that thing can move back and forth. Oh, we got some videos. I think these guys are getting into... I think they're just getting this thing up into place. Yeah, they're getting that ready. Come on. Huh. There they are lifting out the aerator. That's what it looks like. That's a better shot of that thing. Better idea of what it looks like. So altogether that weighs about, with the motor and the float, it's about 3,300 pounds. So he's got to swing that thing right over. So he's a pretty smooth operator. He does all right. There's a bit of a breeze. Like, you really don't want to do things in high winds, as things start swinging all over the place. Nobody has a tagline on it either to keep it steady, so I must say he's doing pretty good. You can see it's starting to shake a little bit there. They're going to take this thing, they're going to take it and set it on some dunnage out in the middle of the road, and a loader is going to come by and pick it up and take it away. The loader will have forks on it, so it'll be able to hold it steady. And there's already some guys there waiting at the landing zone. They're going to have those gray plastic blocks there, and they're going to set those up as the dunnage to hold the pontoon, or the float, if you will. There you go. That is a smooth crane operator there, everybody. Like, watching that. Okay. Nice smooth movements, good landing. Like, that's what you want. You don't want any kind of showboating or guy showing off or whatever, thinking he's awesome crane operator. But there you go. Slow and steady, and no one gets hurt. Everybody goes home. And they'll detach everything, the rigging and all that, and they'll come and get the next one. Like, me and another fella decided to film this because this was something that didn't happen all the time. Removing of a dredge from the ponds. So takes a while. I'm gonna speed it up here. Yeah, so he's got it up there. One of the fella has a tagline there. You can see he's got it on there so it doesn't swing around and smash into things. There might have been something that was still connected. I think somebody had to go on there and disconnect it. See here. Yeah, you only got it about that far, so. Come on. Trying to get Windows to work for me here. Anyway. No? Okay. It's not going to work for me, so whatever. It's alright. You guys get the idea anyway. Pretty neat to see that happen. Not often you get to see where all the city's human waste goes. And it settles in these ponds, and it gets pulled out, put through some centrifuges, where it separates the solids from the liquids, and it gets into takes a lot of the liquid out of it and makes it a good solid, and that gets sent away to be spread on like farmers' fields and used as fertilizer and stuff like that. The water gets returned to the pond where it just evaporates. So yeah, that is what happens when you go to the bathroom. You flush your toilet and it goes to a treatment plant, and then from the treatment plant it comes to a place like this with settling ponds. And then if they're like we are, it will dredge it out of there and make use of it. Help turn it into compost or something useful. But I don't know what it's like in you guys' cities. Hopefully it's hopefully they do something like that. Anyway, that on there. This. All right, so I'm just gonna start wrapping her up, everybody. I want to say it was great to have you all out today. What a pleasure. It's nice to see everyone. Don't forget, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Spread the word. Let everybody know, hey, there's this guy out there. He calls himself Pop Culture Mechanic. He talks about the trades. He plays games on Saturdays, and he discusses anime on Sunday. What I do. And I hope you enjoy it, because I do. There's other good channels out there too. People like Pacific 414 and Blaine from Blaine's Escape Corner, who was in the chat as well. Ronan66, DJ Ronnie G, who's in the chat. Saw him. Brandon the Anime Guy, who was streaming before I started mine. And Nerdporo Lifeform, Angry Canadian, our own Woopa Troopa, and Punk Waddle. You can usually find him every Wednesday at Floral from Under a Rock. I got a Discord. It's called The Shop, because that's where all the tradesmen hang out. We hang out at the shop. So coming up, everybody, Saturday, game day, brand new game, Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest Redacted. A much better version of the game, having better translations and better transitions from night to day. Very much better experience overall than the original game. And I'm playing that, hopefully to get through in it, collecting all of Dracula's parts and then taking on Dracula. We'll see how that goes. Then on Sunday Anime Chat. Sunday will be the start of a new month. And a new month means a new theme. And I know what you're thinking. Pop. It's October. You're going to be doing Halloween scary stuff. No, I'm not doing Halloween scary stuff. But what I am doing, October is all about cosplay. So I'm going to be doing animes that talk about cosplay or show cosplay. A Discord link, Alex Moore? Oh, coming right up. Let's see if I can remember how to get it. Where are we? Let's try this. This work? There you go. I believe that's a Discord link. You guys try it out. Let me know how it works. We have a pretty good time on Discord. Always see some pretty funny stuff. But yes. And then my next stream will be on Saturday. So I hope to see you all there. Playing some games. Also, I want to put the question out there. What would you guys think about having an open mic day with me? Either on like a Wednesday or a Thursday. You guys be up for something like that? I could open the floor up to people to come on and we could have a chat pretty much about anything you like. So, you love open mic days, DJ Ronnie G? Nice. Yeah, I mean, it would be in the evenings, after work for me, probably after dinner, maybe a 7 o'clock, something like that, just to hang around, shoot the breeze. Give it some thought, see what you guys think. I got to think about it as well. It's going to cut into more of my time, but we'll see. I could even do it on weekends, I wonder. Weekends on in the evenings. We'll have to see. I'll see what the consensus is. You're off on those days? There you go. Right on. Just let me know what you guys think. And we'll go from there. I like chatting with you guys, so. Well, that's about it then. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm grateful that you guys showed up, and I appreciate you very much. Hopefully I will see you guys the next time. If not Saturday, then maybe Sunday, or if you're just into the trades, hopefully I'll see you the next time the trades talk rolls around. Until then, everyone, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.